Hello and welcome to another edition of the Optimistic Gardener in the Kitchen. Yes, I'm back in the kitchen again and I've got my eye on Christmas a bit. I know it's only the end of September, but when I've been, the last couple of weeks I've been doing the Preserve Your Harvest series of videos and doing lots of chutneys and things, and that had me thinking about Christmas and all the different sort of preserves that you have at Christmas. And I was thinking I should do my caramelized onion chutney. That always goes well with cheese, and that'll go well with the tomato and chilli chutney, and the selection of cheeses that you often have on what we in the UK and here in Canada sort of call Boxing Day. You in North America, etc., call it the day after Christmas. Anyway, but we often sit down and have a selection of cheeses and cold turkey, etc., cold beef that we've had from Christmas dinner, and sometimes we'll have that in the evening on Christmas Day, etc. And chutney's always one of the favourites that we have. And so I've done the tomato and chilli chutney. I've done a tomato and onion chutney. Now, one of my favourites and one of Mrs. F's favourites is a caramelised onion chutney. So I've got all the ingredients here, really easy as usual. I'm going to hold my hand up here. These are not my own grown onions this year. Onions was one of my sort of, I'll call it a failure. They grew, but just not very big, and they fell over and stopped growing before they got nice and big. I had a few big ones, but not enough, and I've used all those big ones, and I've only got small ones left. So I want about 1.5 kilos of onions. Can't remember what that is in old money, but I'm sure I'll put it on the in the contents. I'll put it in the contents what 1.5 kg is. So I want some onions, obviously, white onions preferably, some brown sugar, couple of 100 mils of red wine vinegar. We've got some balsamic vinegar, crushed chillies, some paprika, and some garlic, and some wholegrain mustard. So lots of different flavours in there, isn't there? All going to meld in with the sweetness of the sugar, etc., to make an absolutely delicious chutney. So how do we start? Well, the first thing, as always, is chop up the onions, and that's what I'm going to do now. Peel and chop. So I am no super chef with my peeling onions ability, so I won't worry about picking me up on that. One of these days I'll learn a bit more for a more sophisticated technique. Let's put these onions on the side here a sec. But I just normally, so we want to chop them up nice and thinly and small. You can have them long ones if you want, but I like my onions nice and chopped up, nice and small. Just like that, really. Oh, my eye's watering already. Right, I'm going to chop all the rest of these onions up, and then we'll come back for the next bit. Okay, so that is a 1.5 kg of onions chopped up, and I can tell you something, that was a bit emotional. I've had a bit of a cold the last couple of days anyway, and my right eye has been streaming, but peeling all of them onions literally had both my eyes streaming, and I've had to have about half an hour's break to, I think the eyes are still a bit red, but there you go. The show must go on. So next bit, we've done the onions. I've just heated up 3 tablespoons of olive oil in a nice big heavy based pan, and what we're going to do is we're going to put them on to saute for about 25 to 30 minutes, stirring regularly till they're softened, reduced sort of by half, but not brown. So we'll just put them in there. Stir them regularly. That is a lot of onions, it seems, but it'll all reduced down. So 25-30 minutes until they're nice and soft. I shall do that and I shall come back. Okay, that's been about 27 minutes actually. Onions have reduced down nicely by about half. Nice and soft. So, what I'm going to do now, so I'm going to increase the heat a little bit, sort of medium heat, and I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of the brown sugar. Give that a mix in. Now we're going to keep this like this for about 7 to 10 minutes, and then hopefully they should be browning off nicely, just starting to brown by then. And then what we're going to do is add the rest of the sugar and all the other ingredients. So there we go. Again, stir this occasionally over the next, I'll put 8 in there. Over the next few minutes, just keep stirring. And that should brown off nicely. Okay, that's about 8 minutes. As you can see, the onions are browning nicely now, reducing down even more. I'm going to turn the heat down to low again. And now I'm going to bung all the rest of the ingredients in. So all the rest of the, I think it was about 300 grams of sugar to start with. All the rest of the brown sugar. 200 mils of the red wine vinegar. 3 cloves of garlic, chopped nicely. What else we got? About half a teaspoon of paprika. This is a... There we go, half a teaspoon of that. About 1/4 teaspoon of crushed chillies. We want, where's that gone? Full-on tablespoon of wholegrain mustard. Lots of lovely flavours going in here. What else have we got? Oh yes, balsamic vinegar. 3 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. Just to top it off nicely. 1, 2, 3. Actually about half a teaspoon of salt. Salt to taste later actually. Right, give that all a good old mix in. Have I forgotten anything? Balsamic, red wine, chillies, paprika, wholegrain mustard, the sugar. Oh, it nearly blew my head off. Right, so we are going to leave this to simmer, bubbling gently, for about 30 to 40 minutes. Again, like when I did the tomato and chilli one up on the screen, let it, wants to reduce and thicken up nicely. So it may be more than 30-40 minutes, but we want to get it nice and thick and reduced. So just keep going, stirring occasionally until then. Be right back. Okay, so this has actually been about 50 minutes. And that has boiled down or simmered down nicely. So let's have a look at it. Let's let it cool down. And then we'll have a bit of a taste up, shall we? Right, so, still not completely cold like we would like normally with our chutneys straight from the fridge. Want a nice bit of cheese, but I thought I'd finish the video off and have a little bit of a tasting. So I've got some cheese and a cracker. And so that 1.5 kilos of onions has made a medium jar and a small jar of chutney. as you can see there. Smells nice. Nice and sweet. But with that little bit of tartness, obviously, because of the vinegar. I think I could have done with another tablespoon of the balsamic. Let's get some more in there. Definitely good though. This one is, I'm going to can this one up now and put this away ready for Boxing Day, and a selection of cheeses. Jobs are good.